Games, games, games. You love games, I love games. This guy loves games so much he literally calls himself The Game, and only one person gets to play him. But we're not talking about those kind of games right here. The summer of gaming, formerly known as E-Cubed, is here once again. It's like our own weird version of the Hunger Games, in which many of us feast on the smorgasbord of enjoyable delicacies that are brought before us, while others nearly die from starvation, waiting for news of that one game announced 10 years ago to finally be released, only to catch like a 2-second glimpse of it in a random sizzle reel somewhere. Like it or not, these game companies have got us by the balls, and once again we take a look at their annual offerings of what's in store for the next 12 months and beyond. You know the rules. So let's get things started. We begin once again with the PlayStation State of Play, who kindly gave us 24 hours notice that they were going to do one in the first place. And I immediately feel sorry for whoever has to go out first this time, because last year it was Concord and, well, we know how that one turned out, don't we? No pressure! Thankfully, they start out with a nice safe one in Luminaires Arise, the latest game in the Luminaires series, this time being developed in part by the same people who made Tetris Effect. A fun, addicting puzzle game with psychedelic visuals and a euphoric soundtrack? Can't really miss with that one. Sony definitely wanted to make sure that they didn't put their worst foot forward first. Let's hope that the rest of the show goes that way. From the deranged mind of Suda51 comes a brand new action title, Romeo is a Dead Man, which sees you step into the role of Romeo Stargazer, a man stuck between the realms of life and death who works with the FBI to track down wanted criminals all across space-time. You know what to expect from a Suda51 game. Absolutely wild visuals, crazy frenetic combat, and action that is so insanely bloody that they even work it into the game's mechanics themselves. All I can say is, thank God this guy is a game developer, because I hate to think what he would do if he wasn't. A much beloved PS1 title gets a long-awaited rebirth in Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles. Relive the story of the Warred Alliance from the perspective of Ramza, third son of House Beowulf, and the trials and tribulations he must endure in this turbulent time for the kingdom. Battle in turn-based tactical combat. Recruit more followers to your cause and upgrade them to suit your needs with an incredibly robust job system. You can experience the game in its classic format, or discover the enhanced version with updated visuals, a new user interface, and voice acting from a stellar cast, including some that worked on the Final Fantasy VII Remake series. Tactics fans, rejoice, for your long wait is finally over. As long as you can wait another 3 months, that is. Other games announced by PlayStation include Silent Hill F, the newest installment in the survival horror franchise, this time set in 1960s Japan. Digimon Story Time Stranger, which is the first in the series to feature an English voice cast. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, a fast-paced action game with an awesome pixel art style and rocking soundtrack. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, which brings together many classic titles from this legendary franchise with all the extra features you expect from a collection like this. And 007 First Light, the long-awaited James Bond game from IO Interactive, that follows a younger Bond in his early days on his journey to becoming the 00 agent we all know and love. Hey, as long as it doesn't involve Oddjob in a weird purple pimp suit, I'm okay with that. The last game on the docket was a bit of a surprise, a brand new Marvel fighting game from Arc System Works, the guys behind the Guilty Gear and BlazBlue series. The slightly unusually named Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls contains the same energetic combat from Arc's other titles with a visual style that pays tribute to the comic book origins of the franchise. Its key selling feature is 4-on-4 tag team action, meaning that when things get really wild, the entire screen will be filled up with all your favorite Marvel characters duking it out, essentially making it Marvel vs. Capcom without the Capcom. An additional short documentary after the reveal trailer shows the labor of love and passion behind the development team who are eager to showcase these household names with their own unique flair. They've really built this up big time, so let's hope that this is worth the hype they're trying to generate. I think Sony did alright this time around, playing it cautiously at the start and then slowly drip-feeding bigger things as they went along. Not good, not bad, but somewhere comfortably in the middle. Though why did they feel the need to show us a Ghost of Yote cinematic only to reveal that they'll show us the actual gameplay at a later date? Maybe getting a little bit cocky towards the end there, Sony. Don't forget what happened last year. For the third year in a row, we're taking a look at the Accessibility Summer Showcase, a special presentation dedicated to putting the spotlight on select indie titles designed by disabled developers with disabled players in mind. Again, it's hosted by Laura Kate Dale on her channel Laura K Buzz, and versions of the show are available in both American and British Sign Languages and audio description. So, what do these amazing pioneers have for us this time? Well, how about a sequel to Chromagun, a first-person puzzle shooter where you use a specialized paint gun to change the color of surfaces, allowing you to solve puzzles by guiding droids, triggering switches, and opening the path to the next room. Because color is a key part of the game's mechanics, the developers have created a special colorblind mode for those who have trouble seeing it. Each color is assigned a shape that displays over any surface bearing that color, and even mixed colors combine shapes in a very clear manner, meaning that everyone, colorblind or not, can enjoy the fun and challenge of Chromagun 2 without an issue. And if you're not sold on that, check out that subtitle. I just love that. Another color-based game that may be worth your time is Spray Paint Simulator. In this game, you'll help out your neighbors with various decorating jobs, laying down paper, removing important items, and painting the surfaces to the specifications of the customer, or however you want in free mode. This is a very relaxing game with no time penalties or fail states. You can leave a job halfway through and pick it up again later, and there's plenty of sliders and options available to allow you to enjoy the game at your own pace. I've been having a lot of fun with this game, and I'm hoping it becomes even more popular, if only because I want to see them do a Batman v Superman style team up with Power Wash Simulator. Now that is the crossover we all deserve to see. There are not just games for the colorblind, but also for those who are completely blind. Games for Blind Gamers is an event where developers come together to create games focused solely on blind player accessibility. This has resulted in some very unique and interesting concepts, like The Unseen Awakening, where you play as the blind healer of an adventuring party, or Barista, where you run a coffee shop. These games focus a lot on clear audio cues to let players know where they are and what options are available, with really great voice acting to help immerse them in the world they are playing in. It's really hard to narrow down what games to highlight here, because there are so many really great titles to choose from. There's Rollick and Roll, which is inspired by classic Marble Run playsets. Bits and Bops, a rhythm game that can be played without any sighted assistance. Sunlight, a peaceful walking simulator with a soft watercolor design and no stressful tasks to complete. Soul Blaze, a Pokemon-inspired roguelite with dice mechanics and helpful screen reader functionality. And Coming Home, a home defense horror game that includes many helpful features, including a high contrast mode and volume adjusters for different sounds, including jump scares and for those who have misophonia. This is like a much more accessible version of Five Nights at Freddy's, that I probably still won't play because I'm a wimpy coward, but still, this is wonderfully impressive. Probably the highlight of the showcase for me was a story told by the Wobbly Gamer, one of the many disabled content creators who popped up during the show. He told a story about an encounter he had at a gaming event with a family whose young daughter has cerebral palsy. I won't spoil the story here for you, but I urge you to go and watch the presentation and hear it for yourself, because it is a wonderfully heartwarming tale and is just one of the many reasons why accessibility in gaming and showcases like this that give these games a platform is so important. I'm glad I made this a part of my annual tradition, and I can't wait till next year. It's now time for the opening ceremony of this year's Summer Game Fest, coming live from the YouTube Theater in Los Angeles. Jeff Keighley is once again our master of ceremonies, taking us through another 2 hours of big gaming reveals. Yep, this is very much the Lord of the Rings of game showcases. Thank goodness we're not watching the special editions. As it is 2 hours long, I will be talking about everything, but here are some of my personal highlights. Cuphead really helped to bring the rubber hose animation style back to prominence, and 2 games are taking full advantage of it. Mouse PI for Hire is a first-person shooter title set in a noir-esque town that sees you get into all sorts of scrapes, gunfights, and hijinks with a comically cartoon bent to them. Into the Unwell goes for a more surrealistic 3D platforming vibe as you navigate through some really twisted environments and bizarre enemies in an attempt to escape this realm of nightmares. Both titles have a lot of creativity and some passionate developers behind them. It looks like this is a style that is not going away anytime soon. Speaking of creativity, here are 2 titles that can't help but stand out. Out of Words is a stop-motion co-op platformer where everything has been crafted by hand. The animation is amazing, the worlds look incredible and vast, and the mystery of why the main protagonists have no mouths definitely draws you into wanting to know more. Felt That Boxing is a comedy boxing title created in the Unreal Engine, where all of the main characters are puppets. Yes, these are digital graphics you are looking at, not actual puppets. This is so bizarre. I feel like I'm watching a parody sketch here, but this is all a real game. It just goes to show what the power of hard work and unlimited potential can get you. Okay, how about something a little lighter? LEGO Voyagers is a charming little co-op adventure where two little blocks go on a big journey, discovering wondrous new worlds and using their building skills to solve puzzles. It looks like a really delightful game, and handily comes with a friend pass, meaning that you and one other person can enjoy the fun together at no extra cost. Because we all know how expensive LEGO can be nowadays. Here's a game coming all the way from the mystical land of Toronto. Scott Pilgrim EX sees everyone's favourite Canadian slacker take on 3 new rival gangs, the Vegans, the Robots, and the Demons, in a brand new brawling adventure across space, time, and the mean streets of Toronto. With a whole new connected city to explore, 7 playable characters, 4-player co-op, and a brand new story by series creator Brian Lee O'Malley and music by Anna Managuchi, it's time to rage against the machines, send the demons back to hell, and make the vegans be gone. There was a bunch of fun stuff that showed up on this show. Hideo Kojima dropped by to talk about Death Stranding 2 and showed an exclusive cutscene from the game. Voice actress Carolyn Lawrence arrived to announce a new Nickelodeon game, Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny. Mads Mikkelsen showed up to say that he would be reprising his role of Le Chiffre from Casino Royale in a special event for Hitman World of Assassination. Marvel Cosmic Invasion revealed 2 more characters in Rocket Raccoon and She-Hulk. Sonic Racing Crossroads revealed 3 guest characters in Hatsune Miku, Joker from Persona 5, and Ichiban Kasuga from the Like a Dragon series. And we saw AEW star Kenny Omega cosplaying as the new characters coming as DLC to Street Fighter 6. Also, am I the one that thinks that Kenny Omega dressed as Sea Viper looks a little bit like Dave Bautista? I'm not wrong, am I? They look very alike. The biggest teaser night came from Capcom, as along with announcing a sale on all their products, they brought in Maggie Robertson from Resident Evil Village and series producer Jun Takeuchi to announce that they have something special planned for the series' 30th anniversary happening next year, but that we'd have to wait a little bit longer for any big announcements. And by a little bit longer, he meant about 20 minutes, as the show came to a close with the announcement of the next mainline game in the series, Resident Evil 9 Requiem. They even gave us the release date of February next year. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're getting Resident Evil 9 before GTA 6. How crazy is that? Okay, so this was a pretty good show. Some good reveals, lots of gameplay trailers, and fun cameo appearances. Sometimes you can find these shows to be hit and miss. For this year, I'd definitely say it was a hit. Also, weirdly, there's a new action game featuring the Wu-Tang Clan coming out. Didn't have that on my bingo card. What's next? A tactical RPG with a So Solid crew? Now let's all take a deep, relaxing breath. And enjoy something a little more wholesome with the Wholesome Direct. You're always guaranteed to see something wonderfully original from this show, from passionate creators free from the trappings of AAA developers to create whatever their hearts desire. So what wonderful treasures await us this year? Luma Island is an exciting little adventure title that can be played solo or with up to 4 friends and family members. Explore the many different locales on this island, discover its hidden temples filled with treasure or caves fraught with danger. Master up to 7 different professions and carve out your own slice of paradise on this tropical getaway. Now available with the new Pirates update. In Ambrose Neeflet and the Gleaned Bell, follow the story of the titular detective as he goes in search of a missing bell stolen from the town's chapel. Meet with the townsfolk, gather evidence and testimonies, and track down the elusive thief. This is such a cute looking game. The stop motion animation is delightfully charming and puts me in mind of old kids TV shows like The Magic Roundabout and Bob the Builder. Ooh, anyone remember Passing the Line? No? Okay. You may have played an MMORPG at some point in your life, but have you ever thought about building one of your own? Let's Build a Dungeon gives players the chance to create their own online worlds filled with quests, adventures, and NPCs. You'll also have to manage other aspects of game development, including marketing, employee contracts, and server management, as more and more virtual players start joining. But if that's a little bit too much for you, there is the Just Build mode, where you and up to 3 other players can create your perfect RPG world with none of the responsibilities. Embark on the journey of self-discovery in Campervan Make It Home, As you travel the world and discover many beautiful locations, don't forget to make your ride feel a bit more homely with furnishings and decorations that suit your tastes. Acquire new vans, collect mementos, meet adorable new friends, and make many precious memories in your idyllic home away from home. Continuing the travel theme, we have One Move Away, a first-person puzzle game that perfectly blends the coordinated problem-solving of Tetris with the slice-of-life storytelling of unpacking. With each new location, you'll gather the belongings of the main characters, discovering more about them as you do, and work out the best way to fit each item into your vehicle as they embark on the next chapter of their lives. It is always a joy to check out the Wholesome Games catalogue of pleasantly quirky digital delights. And I have gotten used to the fact that we don't get nearly enough time with each title. In fact, I think they have gotten better at giving each game a little more time to shine. However, I do have one other minor complaint this time, and it has to do with the rather bland looking lower thirds that pop up during the presentation. In the past, they've been bright and colourful, matching the cheery vibe of the show, but this year they feel a little sterile. Now, they're not complete deal breakers and they didn't ruin my enjoyment of the game trailers, but I want something that adds to the whimsy when you're looking at games that have you cooking an omelette for an angry chicken, matching shapes in their preferred seating location, taking a solemn stroll through a cemetery, managing a vending machine company, or having a friendly chat with a stranger next to a roaring fire. I'm not disappointed, Wholesome Direct, but if you could fix that issue by next year, I'd very much appreciate it. And I will be back next year. This is so much fun. Up next we have the, let me get this right, Future Games Show Summer Showcase. See, it really helps if you say it nice and slow. And your hosts for this year are veteran voice actors and cast members of the hit D&D web series Critical Role, Laura Bailey and Matthew Mercer. Like, pick any game and they've probably done a voice in it somewhere, even if it is just a lowly background grunt. Okay, I'm going to prefix this segment by saying that I watched the live broadcast of this show on YouTube, and apparently there were some technical issues as the video kept on jumping back and forth, meaning that we did miss a few game announcements here and there. The full show has been fixed and re-uploaded, and I won't count this hiccup towards my evaluation, but I just wanted to point out how really annoying it was. Seriously, these were some of the notes that I made when watching the broadcast. This just makes me sound deranged. I probably need to get some sleep. Actually, sleep is the one thing I shouldn't do in this first game, Sleep Awake, a psychedelic thriller where people keep disappearing in their sleep, and you have to find out what's behind all of this and stop them. The game is filled with so many trippy visuals and outright jarring imagery, and comes from the minds of Corey Davis, the man behind Spec Ops: The Line, and Robin Fink of 9 Inch Nails. If you're looking for something that will really mess with your head without causing withdrawals, this could be the game for you. Eric Sholm: The Stolen Dream is an isometric stealth game set in an alternate version of early 1900s Scandinavia. You'll follow Hannah and her allies as she tries to uncover the mysterious circumstances surrounding her brother's disappearance, while setting off a chain of events that will alter the destiny of the entire city. There is such incredible lighting and detail to this world, and the team behind it clearly have a lot of passion. It's definitely something to keep your eyes on if you're looking for a new experience in the stealth genre. We've already talked about a game where you get to create your own dungeons, but what about a game where you have to inspect other people's dungeons? In the Bureau of Fantastical and Arcane Affairs, you'll become a bureaucratic inspector, traveling to various fantasy lands, inspecting many an evil lair, and making sure they are up to code for the arriving hero. Then step into the role of said hero and see if the changes made to the adventure is worthy of a tale of legend. This really feels like the sort of game that a dungeon master would absolutely enjoy. Even Matthew Mercer is getting excited about it.
Okay, I legitimately need this game.
I know. Hell is Us is an action-adventure title where you'll control Remy, a United Nations peacekeeper who sneaks into the war-torn country of Hadia to find his parents, only to discover a supernatural hellscape created by an event known only as the Calamity. The developers talked a lot about wanting to bring back a sense of discovery to the player. To that end, they have removed things that are now common with most modern open world games, like waypoints and map markers and even quest logs. Now players really have to pay attention to conversations that they have with other characters to find the location of their next objective. It's kind of a bold move, but one that I'm sure will be very much welcomed by a lot of players who really hate games that hold their hand a lot. Elsewhere on the show, we had Herdlings, where you shepherd a group of animals over a vast open world whilst watching out for deadly predators. Hirogami, an action platformer inspired by the ancient art of paper folding. Phase Zero, a loving tribute to PS1 horror titles like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Tenet of the Spark, a time-hopping brawler where you'll battle enemies and solve puzzles across 3 distinct timelines. Animal Kind, a cooperative town-building game where you play adorable little critters in mech suits. A 70s take on Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile, a video game tie-in to the sci-fi show The Expanse, a golf course construction simulator, a sequel to Duck Detective, and a spooky title set within a haunted mansion and... Wait, is that the Mystery Machine? Dang it, Scooby got me again, just like he did with that movie trailer back in... How long ago was it? Oh, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. So despite the issues that I and many others had with the live broadcast, this was quite a good show. Many varied titles from incredible developers and, of course, the hosts had great chemistry with each other. Not surprising considering their other work. All in all, a great roundup with plenty of games that are sure to please many gamers out there. Except for maybe Scum, I'm not too keen on playing that one. But if you're someone who is, then go for it. I'm not judging you. I'm totally judging you. Moving forward, it's now the turn of the Xbox Game Showcase. And as ever, remember to drink responsibly when playing the Xbox Showcase drinking game. Disclaimer, TeknoBoy and those affiliated with the channel do not condone the use of excessive drinking. Not only would this show be followed by a deeper dive into the previously announced Outer Worlds 2, but that would also be followed by another big announcement during the show, a sequel to survival action game, Grounded, with a bigger world to explore, with different biomes, more varied enemies to fight and run from, and the ability to tame and ride mounts. There you go in there, Xbox. Let's see what else you've got. The toughest platformer in the world gets a whole new dimension in Super Meat Boy 3D. Dr. Fetus has kidnapped Bandage Girl once again, and it's up to Meat Boy to rescue her by traveling through many dangerous worlds, trying to avoid the many deadly traps along the way. It's the same old school difficulty you've come to expect from this series, but now in 3D. With brutal but fair level design, epic boss battles, and a heart-pumping soundtrack, this is a game that will keep you coming back for more as you try, die, and try again. Clockwork Revolution, a first-person action RPG set in a Victorian-era steampunk city, is a game that I briefly talked about a couple of years ago, and now that we've learned a bit more about it, it honestly is very appealing. The look and design of the world is impressive, not just with the graphics, but with how everything is built to fit the steampunk aesthetic. From mechanical androids to weapons and gadgets, to even how you customize your character and their gear. There is a very satisfying feel to how everything just works. While there isn't much of a plot to speak of yet, time travel appears to play a major part in it, and when you get a hold of your own time device, you'll have access to your own time manipulating abilities, all in an effort to change the past back to what it was, or possibly even make it better. Okay, I would love to hear what the elevator pitch for this next title was like. So you inherit a hotel from your dead father, and you can renovate it by using these special tools to spray, blast, and levitate everything into place. Oh, and you can use it to fix up everything in town as well. Oh, but you're also secretly a paranormal investigator that can open gateways to another dimension, where you fight supernatural spirits and Cthulhu demons with a gun that shoots out books. Oh, and there's a talking cat, and an AI with an Irish accent, and the whole thing is set to a ska soundtrack. Honestly, that alone would get me excited for There Are No Ghosts at the Grand. Color me intrigued. Beast of Reincarnation is an action RPG set in a post-apocalyptic version of Japan. You play as Emma, a young vagabond traveling with her canine companion Ku, doing everything they can to survive a hostile environment crawling with monstrous creatures. This is such a gorgeous looking title with intensely good gameplay. I wonder who the developer is. What, Game Freak? You mean the guys behind the Pokemon series of games? Oh, I get it now. This must be a grittier take on the Pokemon franchise. That totally looks like a Venusaur. Or Vileplume? Ugh, I hope it's not a Lickitung. Some of the other titles that will be on their way to Xbox systems include Aphelion, a sci-fi survival game set on a barren ice planet. Amino, a bright and bubbly game about a girl that transforms into cute little critters. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 with some new levels featuring the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and a demo that features the guy from Mudang 2 Hearts, a gripping action thriller set in a dystopian version of Korea. Keeper, the latest title from Double Fine Studios, where you play as a sentient lighthouse, and a surprise yet not entirely unexpected fighting game based on the supremely popular superhero in... Oh wow, that actually does work. They also threw in a couple of sequels in the form of High on Life 2 and Ninja Gaiden 4, another remaster of the original Gears of War title, a brief look at the Persona 4 remaster, and a port of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade coming in the winter. Final Fantasy is coming to Xbox Cloud. Hilarious. And hey, they got Final Fantasy 16 over as well. And that is going to be available right now? Holy sh! Perhaps their biggest news coming out of this showcase is the announcement of their first proper handheld device, the Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X. Based on these same parameters used for the Asus ROG Ally X, these devices are offering a lot of crazy features that has probably gone over a lot of your heads as you're distracted by the Silksong footage playing on the device. Further compounded by the announcement that Silksong will be available on Game Pass when the Ally launches later this year. Yeah, you can talk about your fancy new consoles and its features all you want, but at the end of the day, all the people care about are the games. Which this showcase did a decent job in presenting. Sure, it ended on a rather lackluster note when it teased something exciting involving Milo Ventimiglia, and it turned out just to be the next Call of Duty Black Ops game, but there's still plenty of great stuff to go around. Also, I think Phil Spencer might have lost some weight, or maybe he just looks less bulky without a jacket. Either way, you're looking trim, my man. Good for you. Last up is the Nintendo Direct, and... oh, come on, really? No new Direct this year, Nintendo? When you've just launched a brand new console this month? Or do you expect us to pay for the privilege of it like you did with the Welcome Tour game? Well, you know what? Fine. You're taking the L this year. Yeah, how do you like that? How does that make you feel? And this is why I'm not a businessman. Okay, I am being a bit unfair here, as we did have 2 or 3 Directs back to back only a couple months ago, plus an almost jump scare like appearance at Summer Game Fest when no one was expecting them, so it's not like they have no presence this year. In fact, they are giving us one Direct focusing solely on the upcoming Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I might as well take a look at. Hey, it's either this or hoping that they put a proper one out in July, and I am not waiting that long to put this video out. Our favourite tie-wearing gorilla has travelled to the Ingot Isles to check out the newly discovered Bonandium gems. However, an evil band of apes called the Void Company seek to steal the gems as they make their way to the planet's core, where legend says that one can have their greatest wish granted. To stop these sinister simians, DK follows them underground, accompanied by his new rocky companion, Pauline? Why is she here? And why is she a child? This adventure just got incredibly weird. One of the game's biggest features is its worlds. Not only are they massive in scope, but also highly destructible. You can bash and dig straight through rocks and dirt, send enemies flying into walls, and reduce an entire cliff face to rubble. You can even pull up chunks of the ground to use as a weapon or projectile, gain a mid-air jump, or depending on the material, you can use it to build platforms and bridges. Pauline has her own helpful abilities too, as her singing can help show DK the right direction to go, or give him special power-ups that transform him into wild new bonanza forms that include a zebra and an ostrich. Hopefully you can eventually turn him into a literal donkey, because if not, then what is even the point? This game looks to have so much content packed into it. A huge amount of collectibles, various skills to obtain, custom outfits for both DK and Pauline that come with added benefits, 2K co-op functionality, and a bunch of minigames and challenges, some of which harken back to some of his older titles. This is Donkey Kong's first big 3D adventure since the N64 days, and it looks to fill a gap for fans waiting for Mario Odyssey 2, or whatever that might end up being. It looks like a ton of fun, and I have no doubt that people are gonna go, Banape for it? I'm sorry, I got confused. Damn it, Nintendo, why couldn't you just have a normal Direct? And with that, we've come to the end of another, whatever we're calling this now, Summer of Games, I think? I don't know. I hope you found something in all of these presentations that you're looking forward to. As for me, I'm gonna go to bed. Try to forget that Scooby-Doo trailer is nearly 25 years old.